In this episode, there is a lot going on. First, I fly my paramotor up as high as the clouds, which on this day happens to be over 6,000 feet. Then I have another crash landing. Then I get a cravat. Then I try to repair my broken prop and take it out on its first flight. Check this out. I'm back here where it all started. This is where I first began taking lessons, and I had my first flight. Matt's on his way here with Steve and probably Wyatt, and hopefully we're gonna get up in the air. It should be awesome. There she is. There's 10-year-old Wyatt. Just look at his takeoff. This guy's already awesome. He's already doing wing overs and stuff at 10. Just wait until he's like 15 or so. Here's what it looks like to fly up near the clouds. The rules say I'm not allowed to fly through a cloud. If I flew into a cloud and another aircraft flew into the same cloud, we wouldn't be able to see each other. We could possibly crash. So as a general rule, I'm gonna stay about 1,000 feet away from the clouds. And here you can see I'm on the same horizontal plane as the clouds, which on this day happens to be about 6,000 feet. Every day's different. And by the way, that looks like a bunch of small lakes all around me, but those are actually the shadows of the clouds on the ground. So I went up and I danced with the clouds a little bit, and now here I am coming in for my first landing of the day. And this is also my first landing off radio. Matt's not talking to me, guiding me in, telling me when to flare or what altitude to be. This is all on me. And here's what I'm thinking. I'm parked right here, so I want to land right here. Now here's what happened. As I was getting closer to my landing, I started drifting closer to the asphalt runway where I don't want to land. If you were landing in a huge open field and there was only one tree in there, you don't look at the tree because you're gonna be drawn to that tree like a bug to a light bulb. You look somewhere else. That way you land somewhere else. But wherever you're looking, that's where you're gonna land. And on this day, I did not want to land on the runway. So what do you think I was looking at? The runway. As I started going down, I reached out my hand to brace for impact, but the toggle was still in my hand. So essentially, I turned myself even harder into the runway, and that's why I rolled over. The pouch that contains my reserve chute ripped open. There's my reserve chute laying on the runway. Now here's the same landing from a different angle, which gives us the opportunity to pick apart what I did wrong. Here's a couple things to look for. It might be hard to tell, but this hand is lower to the ground than this hand, which means I'm pulling more brake on this side and essentially turning myself into the runway. You can tell by looking at the shape of my wing. Now right here you can see that the back part of my wing is rolled under on this side and not so much on that side. Well, there was no way I was going to make this my last landing of the day. My next goal was to get back up in the air and have a safe landing to make up for that whole debacle.
Heading correction, if you try to land straight and you're coming in like that, make sure you're comfortable turning without turning like that.
I see, yeah, okay.
Make sure you're comfortable just turning.
Okay.
Instead of turning hard.
Right.
An aggressive yank on it will bank you and you'll swing. But if you just gently pull and hold and you're patient, you'll notice it'll happen and it'll turn flat.
Okay. In total, I made up for that bad landing with 4 great takeoffs and 4 landings. But here's something else I don't want to do when I'm landing. Let's pretend this is the ground. I don't want to come in, land, and then burn off all that energy running with that motor on my back. What I would like to do is come in a swooping motion over the ground and then land, and that takes all that weight off of your shoulders. And you can see that I was able to do just that with these last couple of landings. That was a good one.
Great one, dude.
Thank you.
Another one?
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to do that a couple times over and over. Yeah, that motorcycle's working out. Yeah.
It's so worth it. It's so worth it, huh?
Now this next flight could have truly been a disaster. I've got the master, Matt Minyard, helping me spread out my wing. He looks it over several times before I launch, and I still got a cravat.
About a half step to your right. Yeah. Now get the slack out of it. Come forward really slowly. A little more. Make sure you feel the line tighten. That's the point. So now you're in the center. Now you know here, you're gonna inflate. So give you 2 steps back, rev it up a quarter of the way, then go.
And for those of you that don't know, a cravat is when your wingtip gets wrapped up in your lines. Here I start to run and I see the cravat, so I immediately abort. I hit the kill switch, shut off the motor, that way my lines don't get caught in my propeller. It's better to be on the ground wishing you were in the air than to be in the air wishing you were on the ground. Your lines can catch on grass or a small stick. Any of that can help create a cravat. You never know. Always check before you send it. You check while you're running, you check when you get in the air.
Hey, here it is. Great job, buddy. Put a power on the inflation.
I'm in my standing position. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the motor. My hands are up. I'm waiting for the flare. Another beautiful landing. Oh yeah, that was nice. 2 good landings back to back.
Hey, good landing, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now it's time to investigate the damage I've done to my motor and my prop. They say practice makes perfect. I'm ready for the perfect to kick in. This ain't good. Check this out. The damage is all along this edge of my frame. I'll zoom in here so you can see the scratches. As I'm sitting in this chair, right here on my side is my reserve parachute. This pouch got ripped up. The reserve chute inside is still good. The prop. There's a crack that runs down this edge a few inches, and then you can see this tip is cracked. I'm gonna use Cubon to put that back together. Well, it's definitely not as good as new, but it's better than it was. I believe it's flyable. The only way to know is to go through the steps. My repaired prop is looking pretty good. What I'm gonna do is take off the good prop, put on the broken one that's now repaired, and fly it. If it flies good, I'm gonna continue to fly that one and leave the good one put up. And hopefully I never have another mishap, but if I do, I'll break a broken prop and I'll still have this good one in reserve. I've buffed down this edge somewhat. You can see it's still pretty deep grooves in there, but they're not jagged edges anymore. Now they're really smooth. I can run my finger over them. So right there, I think that's good. I'm gonna live with that. Not a big problem. Now check out Fly It Wyatt. Here's another one of his takeoffs from earlier in the day. Just watch as his feet kind of skim the ground as he's leaving. He's pretty cool. Now that I've repaired my prop, I'm gonna take it up on its first flight and see how that works. So the wind is blowing from the north, which is that way's north. I'm going to be landing into the wind, so I'm down here at the south end of the runway, and I'm making sure that I'm looking all directions. I don't want to be flying in front of some oncoming plane trying to land at this runway. But I'm just going to hover around down here at the south end, because when it comes time to land, I want to fly into the wind to do so. So this is my my plan here. Just hang around over here, bring it down a few. Anyway, I got the seat positioned well. I feel really good in this seat right now. I'm seated right back the way that I feel like I should be. I'm somewhat in a reclined position. My knees are higher than my buttocks, which is a good way to be flying. I don't want my prop to be broken, but then again, that's better than it being some major engine trouble that I did not know was going to happen also. So I'm kind of mixed emotions here. Yeah, that's my prop. After I've repaired it, I've taken it up for its first flight, and again, the sucker split wide open. So it did not work as planned. But the good news is I brought my good prop with me. I'll take this one off. I'll fly the good one for now. I'll repair this again whenever I get home. As always, I had a blast making this video. Be sure to share, like, subscribe. Thank y'all, love y'all, God bless.